Yo, Travis Neville speaking. Hey, I want to make a follow-up video on one that I made about a year ago on sacred geometry and music and stuff, and tone rows and matrices. Some of you guys are familiar with the 12-tone matrix. You know, there's somewhere. Anyway, I've had 7 surgeries and practicing music. So in the couple of years since I've been healing up, since my 5 surgeries at once, I got both hands and both elbows done at one time, and I had to eat and drink like a dog for a couple of weeks, but I wanted to get it over with and get it done. And then I got a little tendonitis here, so I really couldn't use my left hand a whole lot. So I started doing these magic squares. These are really fun, man. You know, you get 4 by 4, 5 by 5, 6 by 6, 3 by 3, 7 by 7. That's when I was like, okay, but I started using the magic squares to make those Babbitt squares. So you can get a Schoenberg row and a Babbitt square and make some 12-tone music. So I made 12-tone music for a while to forsake, put tone aside and not worry about keys for a minute and concentrate on learning rhythm, and it really helped me learn rhythm. And then I started using tone rows, 7-tone rows. So, you know, you get a scale like C. So C goes where 1 is, and then D, and when you get to 8, you go back to 1 again, you know, and you just put any 7-tone scale in there, and it's all different each time, and you can use that for compositions. The 5-tone rows are really neat for like new agey music, if you want to do some hippie stuff and new agey stuff. Square of Mars, really just fun tricks, man. The Square of Venus makes a great tone row, man. There's your tone row, and then there's the there's a major and a C major and C minor in case I want to modulate to the relative minor. And then here's even a Hungarian minor there because I'm into that weird stuff in the Russian music. Square of Mercury, here's the octatonic matrix, which in case you want to get all Stravinsky and stuff. You know, there's your, then you can add the diminished there, and you know. So, you know, here's another one. This is what I use when I write music. Instead of using a musical instrument, I use my knowledge and years of work, and then these things. And I have my little notes down here, you know, and stuff for each of the modes and all that. But that's how I use sacred geometry and Vedic math, basically, to write music. And you know, you can find plenty of videos on how to make magic squares. I'm not going to cover that here. And you can find many videos on 12-tone rows and how people are using 12-tone rows. But you don't have to use 12-tone rows, man. You could use, and you don't have to actually use these. You can make 7-tone rows without a magic square. You can do it yourself. It just takes a little time and a little math, you know. But you can make magic squares, 7-tone matrices and 5-tone matrices and 8-tone matrices and stuff. You know, you don't really have to have. You don't really have to use this, because if you use the same matrix all the time, it's gonna all your music's gonna kind of end up sounding alike. Even you know, you got your inverted, retrograde, inverted, and prime or whatever. You know, this would be prime. So you know, it's gonna sound a little bit similar here and there, but if you use them all the time, your music will start sounding alike, which I've been using quite a bit lately. But I don't always use them, man. I kind of refer to them a little bit once in a while. If I don't know where to go or something, I'll jump to the matrix. But I don't always use them, you know. But it's a pretty neat thing, and nobody's really made videos on 7-tone matrices, 5-tone matrices, octatonic matrices. You know, nobody's making videos on it. And I thought I might have invented it. I thought I might have come up with it on my own. But I looked on the internet, and I think there was one composer in 1974. I don't remember his name. Comment below if you know, or if I find out later, I'll add it on the notes. Use 7-tone row stuff. I don't know. There's probably programs that do it these days. I have no idea, but if there's not, there probably will be pretty soon. But you know, that's a way to write music, and it doesn't sound like Schoenberg. Now, you know, not everybody wants to sound like Schoenberg. I don't want to sound like Schoenberg all the time. I only did it for a few months with the 12-tone stuff because I don't want to be labeled a surrealist composer, because then people will start thinking that I'm not really a musician, but just, you know, doing some math and throwing some numbers around, because a lot of serial type of stuff, anybody could really make music with serial, not good music, but, you know, professionals will know the difference between Schoenberg and, you know, some dishwasher or something. But anyway, I wanted to make this video because I haven't seen any videos out there on tone rows, and man, it's fun, man. It's really fun to use tone rows making music, and I still recommend learning to read and write music and getting some classical training and practice. You don't have to practice until you have 7 surgeries like an idiot, but you know, I don't think you have to worry about that, man. I don't even think Ling Ling's had 7 surgeries, man. So you know, anyway, thanks for watching. Practice.